because it is Super Saturday in the CFL. A tripleheader kicks off with an East showdown in the nation's capital between the Argonauts and the Redblacks. Ottawa fans yet to see their team lose at TD Place this season, hoping that trend continues today.
We all got to be better, and we're going to approach this upcoming game, like that.
It's a great group of guys that want to win, and they're willing to put in the work.
After having their 7-game unbeaten streak snapped, Drew Brown and the Redblacks try to get back to their winning ways this afternoon. Overall, Brown has been great this season, having completed 200 to 300 passes on the year for over 2,500 yards. On the flip side, Chad Kelly hoping to get his Argonauts back into the win column. QB making his third straight start, looking to make it 3 straight games with 300-plus yards passing after putting up 322 in his first 2 games. It is Super Saturday in the CFL. You're in it for the long haul. 9 hours of these people beside me. Enoch Mwamba, Jim Barker, Milt Stiegel. Can't wait. Banjo Bowl, by the way, coming up next on CTV. But let's start with this one, Enoch, because it's huge. After watching the Alouettes lose last night, this is now a really big game in the East.
It's a huge game. We know who's controlling the East right now, and so these two teams right now have to position themselves in the best way that they can going down the stretch of the end of the season. And you're looking at the Toronto Argonauts coming off of a loss against the Hamilton Tiger-Cats, who are trying to make a push for that second and that third place. And so this is a huge game for them.
All you want is to be able to control your destiny. Right. And every team now can control their destiny. Yeah. Ottawa, what a big game for them. At home, to be able to beat the team that's chasing them for second place, and then get right on the heels of the Alouettes. What a huge monster game for them, Milt.
Yeah, after that loss, these two teams see that, hey, maybe we can catch the Alouettes. It's easier for Ottawa, especially if they win this game. They'll be right on the heels of the Alouettes. And the way they've played at home, they haven't lost a game yet at home. And, of course, Toronto Argonauts, their road record is pretty bad. So this is going to be a slobber knocker, as you like to call it, Coach. It's going to be an exciting game. The rain may impact it some, but at the end of the day, this is going to be a great game.
You love rain games, right, Milt?
I hate rain games.
I don't like rain games. Never played one in my life. I don't like them either. You love them, dude.
Love it.
You're like, oh, yeah, they're going to run the ball. Here I go. All Enoch's tackles came from running games. It makes complete sense. It's a rainy day in the nation's capital.
Step into the action with CFL Game Zone. Play games, win prizes, and connect with fans from across the world. Join the ultimate CFL fan experience today at gamezone.cfl.ca.
And we'll look to set the tone here early on as the Ottawa Redblacks this year just 1-1 against the East. They got a ton of football games against the East from now until the playoffs begin. And it begins right now with Janarian Grant on the return in slick conditions at TD Place. Makes his way out to the 36-yard line, and we get a chance to see Chad Kelly here in Ottawa.
Offside, Ottawa number 89, 5-yard penalty, free kick.
Well, we'll have to wait to see Chad Kelly come back because Chad Kelly was waving everybody back onto the sideline there. Marco Dubois was one of the heroes of Touchdown Pacific for the Ottawa Redblacks and always one of the best special teamers in the CFL. Little fired up to get this one going. Offside on the opening kickoff, so he's got to run again.
Yeah, Argos looking to improve their field position here, obviously, by taking that penalty. Pushing the Redblacks back a little bit.
I'd love to make a special teams unit run twice when I've got Janarian Grant back there as well. Like, give him a second touch. They were at the 36-yard line after the initial return. Janarian Grant is standing right now with his heels on the 25-yard line. So an 11-yard return from where he stands now, they'll already have better field position. Let's see what Richie Leone can do with this kickoff. He hammers it right down the middle. Grant catches it at his own 22-yard line. crosses that 36 and much more. And it works out for the Argonauts all the way up to the 47-yard line as we see Chad Kelly in action against the Hamilton Tiger Cats 4 days ago.
Yeah, and obviously positives and negatives in that ball game for Chad Kelly. Early on, the negative of an interception thrown in that game. But overall, Kelly ends up completing 80% of his passes. Throws that touchdown pass that you just saw to Tavares Daniels, using his legs a little bit to get things done. So starting to settle in, but as mentioned, sort of that rocky start.
Well, 1st and 10, Kelly gets hit as he throws outside, incomplete, looking for David Unger as they give him a nice little smack to get going. Here's the rest of the Argonauts offense that surrounds Kelly.
Yeah, Ryan Hunter is out of the lineup on that offensive line, preparing for the birth of his first child. Dylan Giffen gets that start at left guard. In the receiving corps, Tavares Daniels had been a game-time decision. He's out. Tommy Neal will get a few more reps out of the slot as a result.
The Argonauts in those icy white uniforms here on the road will play 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Kelly to the outside, rips this one. It's complete. And Devontae Coxey gets his first touch of the ball game as they'll spot it just shy of the first down marker.
Coxey lining out wide here. His traditional position to the boundary side.
Well, they were ready to go quickly offensively here, Dwayne, as we see Coxey's work against Brandon Dandridge, one of the best coverage defensive backs in the CFL. Kelly wanted to go quickly. They didn't, and now it looks like the punting unit comes off the sideline as Mickey Donovan, the special teams coordinator, sends them out late as we see Tavares Daniels wandering around in the rain at TD Place.
Yeah, and an opportunity here around midfield with John Haggerty, who has been so good this year in terms of his placement of the ball. Really get a field position advantage early on.
7 kicks inside the 10 this year, leads the CFL. This one won't, but a good job by the coverage unit to make sure there's minimal return on the play. Out comes Drew Brown for the first time here at home, back in the starting lineup last couple of weeks, and 3 game-winning drives. And looking forward to seeing what he can do in front of this home crowd where he has really excited them throughout this season.
Yeah, obviously finding that combination of both stability and depth, quite frankly, at the quarterback position has been a big part of Ottawa's success this season.
390 passing yards in Week 12 against BC, did Brown. His first throw will be right here on first down underneath. And it is complete. It goes to the hands of the new addition, Kalen Leyburn, as he's part of this starting offense.
Yeah, and the guys blocking for Brown and Leyburn include center Eric Starsala. Has taken over that position. Cyril Ogun-Sandon on the injured list. And yeah, as mentioned, big news out of Ottawa this week. Making a change at the running back spot. Rock Armstead 4th in the league in rushing. But he's moved out. Kalen Leyburn takes over.
2nd down and 5 after the completion of Leyburn. Over the top, it is complete. Justin Hardy running free through the secondary. Now 63 catches on the year. Came in 5th in the CFL.
Justin Hardy has been so consistent over these last couple of years for the Red Blacks in that receiving core, and anticipate, obviously, with the injuries that they've had to that group, for him to take on a bigger role. At top, you see Leyburn doing a nice job in blitz pickup.
4 receivers to the left of Brown. They hand it off inside after a gain of 26 to Justin Hardy. This one goes for just a couple of yards on the play as the Argonauts front stacking it up. And here's the starters for the double blue defense.
Yeah, defensive line continues to be led by Jake Serezna, obviously one of the top defensive tackles in the league over the years. Guy who started his career here in Ottawa. Isaac D'Arcangelo gets the start at middle linebacker this week. And on the back end, Deshaun Amos, another guy who was a game-time decision, but he's going to go at halfback start.
Brown hits his back foot, wide open, sliding down and sliding out of the hands of the intended receiver that time, as it was Eli Stove, who had a big game in Touchdown Pacific. 8 catches, 73 yards, but wet conditions couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, Stove getting an opportunity with Jalen Acklin, Braylon Addison, and Khalil Pimpleton all out of the lineup.
So Richie Leone comes out to kick it away. These two teams trading punts early on the front end of our triple header of CFL action on a Super Saturday as Jerry Grant tracked down from behind. Great special teams tackle there by the Ottawa Redblacks, one of the best coverage units in the Canadian Football League. As see David Unger and the rest of the offense, including Kadeem Carey, can he get on track here? One of the leading rushers in the Canadian Football League.
The Chevrolet Silverado.
As one of the best in the Canadian Football League over the last decade, continues to have success kicking this season. 10-3 Redblacks lead. Have been intercepted by the Argonauts as flying back from his halfback spot was Mark Milton, incomplete onto the turf. So a little miscommunication there as well. But yeah, Laybourne into the mix here and trying to use him as much as they can as Dominique Rhymes just came out a little bit different angle maybe than Drew Brown was thinking.
Yeah, it looked like they had their signals crossed there as Rhymes broke it off towards the sideline. Brown was leading him a little more vertically, as you suggested.
Nothing feels worse than Benji Franklin, your fellow DB, going, I would have caught that, as he stared down Mark Milton at the end of that play. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Brown looks to his right, completes this one, shy of the first down marker. As it will be Nick Mardner, who was a game-time decision, but the rookie, 2nd overall pick from the 2024 draft, all 6'6" of him makes a catch.
Yeah, Mardner just sitting down essentially as the check down on this one underneath situation. They'll give that up every time. Come forward and make a play.
DeVaris Daniels out. Robert Priester into the lineup, and he's the one who gets credit for the tackle there. So Richie Leone sends a wobbling spiral down to Janarian Grant at his own 16-yard line. Coverage unit right there once again. Huge pop down the field. Silas Stewart makes the play.
Got those backup linebackers, guys like Gary Johnson, Silas Stewart, great special teams body types, little bit of experience in the league that really understand the kicking game. Those are the guys you're seeing making these impact plays and coverage for Ottawa in the early going.
They have built their roster with depth and players that understand special teams, and it shows on plays like that as Kelly gets this one out. Monte Coxie, safety blanket at times, we were told. Sees from a Darius Pickett told us that this week. Said Coxie's the guy that they go to so consistently. And speaking of Pickett, here he is with the rest of the defensive starters.
Yeah, Kenny Onyeka again getting the start at defensive end with Bryce Carter out of the lineup. Davion Taylor in for the injured Javon Santos Knox at middle linebacker, doing a solid job in there. Keep an eye on DeAndre Lamont from his halfback spot, right up there with a Darius Pickett for the team lead in defensive plays so far this season.
Chad Kelly on 2nd and short, incomplete. Has had an open receiver that time in Kadeem Carey in the flats, couldn't connect. And a 2-and-out here for the Toronto Argonauts as Kelly continues to try and find the handle on that CFL ball today.
I'll tell you, Marsh, one of the things going through my mind in watching the first few series for the Argos in this ball game is going back to last season, right? Watching Chad Kelly all last year, one of the things that stood out was he seemed to have this unshakable confidence. Didn't matter if something went wrong, bounced back, came right back, gunslinging. And then there was the Montreal game in the East Final. Had that pick six early that shook him, and he never really recovered from it. And you wonder if we're seeing a little bit of the same thing here.
As Brandon Dandridge returns this one, and Kelly goes to work on the sideline. Cam Dukes throwing alongside him as well.
You know, and again, like Chad Kelly has played on plenty of big stages. Like, you know, his confidence is not made up. He's been very, very effective, not intimidated by anything. But again, you just, for a guy just in his 3rd game of the year, everybody else is in mid-season form. If that's in his head a little bit too.
2 for 6, 16 yards, and 2 interceptions right now for Chad Kelly. Drew Brown is on point on the other side as he slings that one out on a little bubble screen. And Falar and Arimalai having a conversation with the offensive lineman saying, please don't hold me like that. I'm trying to get around the corner like Flo does so often, but it is complete and good for a gain of 5.
Then Andre Miller using that size as a blocker. Helping Dominic Grimes get upfield.
Brown with a hard count here. Takes the snap, looks right, timing, throw, and it is caught. Wow, that's a tough one for Justin Hardy. A lot of the time he's flying between zones and settling down, making catches, but that was every little bit of effort needed against a collision with Tavares McFadden and Deshaun Amos right there as well.
And watch the tail end of this route, how Hardy kind of works back towards the football. See him bend it back towards the line of scrimmage, helping out his quarterback a little bit, recognizing that wide side throw, the time it takes for the ball to get there, the DBs are closing.
It's Priester on the coverage, tracking him down, so Robert Priester active early on as Brown with full protection, loads it up, wants to take a shot down the right rail, up for grabs, incomplete. Looking for Dominique Grimes and Benji Franklin, locking him down for the second time today.
Yeah, Benji Franklin doing a nice job in coverage as for Drew Brown, just looking to give one of the best receivers in the Canadian Football League an opportunity to make a play. Closest to the top of your screen, that matchup right down the sideline. Grimes isn't in behind him. Franklin's got that tremendous speed. But Grimes with a size advantage down there, and that's what Drew Brown is banking on with that throw. Hoping Grimes can box him out, come down with the rebound.
5 or 6 inch advantage for Dominique Grimes in that matchup, but can't haul it down as Bob Dice is on the field right before the snap comes up on 2nd and 10. Some confusion from the Redblacks offensively.
Ottawa.
And so the Redblacks will call a timeout.
Well, feeling like at midfield they're in a pretty good place. Bob Dice certainly doesn't want to squander that with a wasted play or a penalty.
I love the call from Tommy Condell, the offensive coordinator. As soon as you cross midfield, you got a little bit of momentum. Chad Kelly struggling here at the end of the first quarter. A little bit of a drifting breeze at their back, so he decides to take a shot. And now it's the always difficult. Well, we tried to cash in on the 1st and 10 home run. 2nd and 10. Let's try to maximize this possession. They call timeout, regroup. 4 receivers to the left of Brown against a 5-man rush. Drew Brown steps up, lone receiver on the backside, and it is Dominique Grimes winning that one-on-one battle, this time with Benji Franklin on a big dig route and a huge first down for the Redblacks offense.
Yeah, the dagger deep in, only receiver out to that right side is Grimes. Similar kind of thing. I mean, this is going to be a contested catch, but Drew Brown has that faith in Dominic Grimes in that situation. You see him shield the ball with his body, get the hands out in front so that he's not going to, his catch isn't going to be affected by the contact. Come down with that one to move the sticks.
Quincy Moget, former Lion, just like Dominique Grimes, said he was looking forward to playing against Mr. Head Topper here this week. Dominique Grimes' nickname is Drew Brown. Play action. Now on his back foot, up in the air, and incomplete. A flag does come down. And will they say that Royce Messier was there a little bit early?
Pass interference, Toronto number 9. Automatic first down.
Tim Croker, our referee here this afternoon, makes the call. Messier doesn't like it. Let's get a look.
And my initial thought on this one was that Messier had a path to the ball and is trying to get to it. But we'll see right here. Yeah, look, it's like his eyes are on the ball, but the body contact, I think, comes first.
He was making the argument that he was playing the football, yeah. And he was, but he still got there early and hit the body, right? So Mark Milton has a conversation on the sideline with Argonauts head coach Ryan Dinwiddie as Drew Brown gets a fresh set of downs once again. 1st and 10, flips it out and trying to get Justin Hardy out in space. And Hardy wishes he would have gotten free of Robbie Smith on that one. Great open field tackle by the former Golden Hawk defensive end.
Yeah, Hardy narrowly avoiding that first hit by Benji Franklin. Franklin, in fact, gets a piece of him, forces him off stride. Robbie Smith there to clean up.
The number of times Robbie Smith is at the sideline making tackles is always mind-boggling for me. The way he turns and runs and covers so much ground. As Brown on 2nd and 9, the closing stages of this first quarter, will load it up to the end zone. Double move into the back of the end zone. Dominique Grimes, the intended receiver. receiver, but 3 different double blue defenders right there. And the field goal unit comes out incomplete, 3rd and 9.
There you see Rhymes lined up tight to the formation. A little bit of a seam, but Milton does a nice job getting over top of that.
20 yards away from Lewis Ward, who's already knocked one through earlier on. Last week, raising his scoring total, as we said, to 127 points this season coming in. The 2nd leading scorer in Ottawa history. He's now got 849 points, just behind Jerry Organ, who set the Ottawa standard from 1971 to 83 with over 1,400. As the CFL on CTV starts today, rolling on. It's the Banjo Bowl, the Riders and the Bombers coming up after this one, and of course Calgary and Edmonton. But the CTV schedule out and ready for everyone to enjoy coast to coast. Looking forward to seeing some of those playoff games available as well, the Eastern semifinal, and of course the big show, the Grey Cup, on CTV here in 2024 as Chad Kelly fades this one over the top, up for grabs, Mackay Poke, and he somehow held on to it. On the final play of the first quarter, it's 41 yards. Poke shaken up a little bit on the play, but Chad Kelly dropped it in over the top here in the wet. And after a first quarter with a pair of interceptions, he only had 16 yards before that completion. And he finds the range. Mackay Poke makes the play. Great crowd in the rain here in the nation's capital, and great defense from the Red Blacks early on. Damon Webb, the lone major on defense to get things going.
Everyone has different backgrounds, and I think that is very important that all backgrounds get represented.
Being somebody who represents diversity, I love to see it when we're giving those people opportunities and allowing them to grow.
It's getting to know people who have different point of view about the game of football, but it's also coming with your own perspective, your own point of view, and then what you can bring.
You get a lot of support, a lot of friendships, a lot of amazing memories.
It's something that I would do 100 times over.
In Ottawa, it's just 7 rushing yards for the Ottawa Redblacks as they get in. Laybourne to the lineup. Haven't seen Jamal Morrow in the backfield yet, but really the story has been the Toronto Argonauts offensively and the way that Chad Kelly has been trying to feel out that first quarter. It really does feel like they should be leaning on Kadeem Carey right now until the final play of that first quarter where Chad finally drops one into Mackay Poke for a big game.
Yeah, and maybe not a perfect throw, but for Chad Kelly, I love this throw in terms of the confidence, almost the irreverence of, yeah, whatever, a couple picks, fumble the ball in the first half, I can still make this play. This is who Chad Kelly was last year, a little bit of swagger to make that throw, and Mackay Poke certainly helps him out with a fantastic leaping catch.
Unbelievable grab by Poke there as we begin the second quarter. Kelly and the Argonauts offense will play from the Ottawa 29, and Poke gets another touch here. Open field tackle made that time. Looks like DeAndre Lamont was the one who wrapped him up and brought him down, but Kelly getting into a little bit more of a rhythm. As in these wet weather games, feels like typically with quarterbacks you end up struggle, and then you get a drive or two where the ball couldn't come out of your hand better. This feels like that might be that for Chad Kelly right now. Dinwiddie calling the shots on the Argos sideline. See what he does here on 1st and 10. Kelly looks to his right. Now looks to try and take off and run. Gets sandwiched. Cleon Lang was right there turning him around. And it was Aiden John finishing it off as well. But the veteran Lang still doing it, pushing the pocket right down the middle.
Yeah, career game number 150 in the CFL for Cleon Lang. You see him directing traffic a little bit. Going from a stand-up here. Just nice spin move to get off the block, fall back into the middle. Come up with the play. The long-time Toronto Argonaut doing it against his former team.
Second sack of the season for the big man. Cleon Lang, pressure on this time. Kelly has to get it out. Intercepted! Picked off again. It's Damon Webb, and he's on the run. Kelly backpedaling. He gets blocked. They'll turn around, trying to find a body. He can even carry catch Damon Webb. No! Touchdown Redblacks.
You remember on the second series of the game, and I said Damon Webb had a big pick six? This was a big pick six. Taking points off the board for the Toronto Argonauts as they finally had some momentum going offensively. Damon Webb, again, the league leader in defensive stops. Takes that deflected ball from Mackay Polk. Look at his guys getting out front to make blocks and escort him to the house.
How about a Darius Pickett wanted to turn around and get a peel back block and went, wait, no.
Yeah,
we can't do that anymore. So turned his eyes upfield, almost got in the way of Damon Webb. But Chad Kelly, 3 interceptions in the first 17 minutes of this football game. And that one in behind. Intended receiver, but what a play, bouncing off the knee of Damon Webb and able to get it back up into his hands. Both of his interceptions, both of his pick sixes, because he's got 2 of them today, have come from juggling acts. As number 12 rifles it high and away, Mackay Polk can't bring it down. Leave the rest to Damon Webb all the way to the end zone for 95.
Step into the action with CFL Game Zone. Play games, win prizes, and connect fan experience today at gamezone.cfl.ca.
I never know when something went wrong, and that's kind of what Chad Kelly needs to channel right now.
He's got to get the gunslinger going and try and forget about some of the errors here early on in this football game. 12:38 remaining in the second quarter, still lots of time left. But 20-3 is the advantage for Ottawa off of 2 pick sixes from Damon Webb.
An easy high percentage. Little dump off here for Kelly to Polk. Maybe letting him ease his way back into things here.
Looks like the big catch at the end of the first quarter might have earned some favor from Chad Kelly. Lots of attention from Mackay Polk as Kelly looks down the middle of the field. This one completed. It is David Unger making the catch. Brandon Dandridge right there, and they will move the sticks on a little comeback route. Curl to Unger, good enough.
You see Unger come from behind on this one, curl around and work back to the football, coming back into that hole between defenders. Got a favorable spot. I wasn't sure how that one was going to go. It's between his momentum coming back to the ball and being driven by the defender as he caught it. Wondered if it might cost him the first down, but it did not.
Unger to the sideline. Janarian Grant into the ball game here as they look to throw a quick bubble screen to Janarian Grant. You heard the sideline from the Redblacks screaming that Janarian was in the game. Didn't decide to use him as a decoy. So Kelly rips it outside and goes for a loss.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before when you have package-type players like Janarian Grant, is finding that balance between plays where they get the ball in that package and plays where they don't, quite frankly, because the defense is obviously very focused on a player like that when he comes into the game.
Baron Miles and his staff all over at a loss of 7, so 2nd and 17. Now Kelly with a pass out to Richie Sindani. And Darius Pickett right there, the former Argonaut. Asked Darius this week about some of the smack talk he's likely to get into after plays like this. He said, well, everybody likes to talk, but when those pads start click-clacking, all of a sudden, people stop talking.
Darius, certainly a guy who plays the game with a bit of an edge, but he says he doesn't say much out there. Just plays like that where, yeah, he'll let his play do the speaking for him.
Flies in to help out as the Ottawa defense active early on, not just Webb, Lamont, and this man, Brandon Dandridge, who will return the punt from the 30 as Devontae Dedman out with injury, and so Dandridge takes over the return responsibilities and doing a solid job up near the 48-yard line of the Redblacks. Pickett there watching on as Elijah McGee. There was a big shoulder in the back of Richie Sindani. 23 Redblacks lead.
Yeah, certainly a good signing for Ottawa as they're looking to make that change. You know, I thought to myself we might see Morrow in the return game. Was surprised to see Brandon Dandridge back there. Part of that may be because Morrow is now getting some snaps on offense for the Redblacks.
Laybourne will stand on the sidelines this time as they get it to Morrow in his first touch here, and now the ball pops out, and it's mercifully recovered. Morrow adjusting to the wet rock in the nation's capital. Miller all over it that time, and so it goes for a gain of 6 or 7.
Yeah, you see a little bit of the burst of Morrow. Sneak into the outside there. Nice shoestring tackle by Jonathan Jones to trip him up.
Jones working at various points this year. Middle linebacker with Whit McManus out, playing over at the weak side primarily here today in Ottawa. Drew Brown looks to throw on second and short, rips it out, gets it into the hands of Morrow, puts the shoulder down, and a first down out of the backfield. Saw so much of that Saskatchewan as Brown peels himself up off the TD Place turf.
And Jamal Morrow, who in the whole running back shuffle of the offseason had signed with the Calgary Stampeders, but failed his physical there. See Drew Brown taken down hard there by Rimolade.
One of those little things by Brown, though, to set the pocket and then get more depth and just try to stay away from Rimolade to get it out of his hands. He does. He gets a first down. Morrow steps up in pass protection. They get it down the chute. It's Miller headed to the end zone. The Redblacks score once again. 50 yards from Drew Brown to Andre Miller. And the advantage expands for the Redblacks.
Big throw from Drew Brown. Great catch and run by Miller. Watch the block here from Jamal Morrow standing in there. Taking on the blitz, giving his quarterback time to make that throw. Andre Miller.
Let's go, brother. Let's go. First touch to the crib. For the ball. The main lobster.
Lewis Ward kicks it through. It's time to cut a wood cookie here in Ottawa. Once again, slicing through, just like Miller did to the Argonauts defense. And the first offensive major. What can Brown do for you? 6'2", 230 of Andre Miller out of Maine. No lobster needed on his trip to the end zone. Here is the big block from Jamal Morrow against Quincy Mauger. And then Miller does the rest, Wayne.
Yeah, Miller, we've talked about his size. He shows off some speed, but Jamal Morrow standing in. Mauger's got a big run at him. You knew it was going to be a collision in the backfield. But Morrow held his ground, an important block. Maintaining the integrity of the pocket for Drew Brown on that one.
The Argonauts get possession back down 27-3, not yet halfway through the second quarter. The return game, battles continue, and flags come out at the end of this play. A couple of bodies rolling their way down around the 35. Referee Tim Croker will sort it out.
After the play, there's 2 misconduct fouls against 34 Toronto and 42 Ottawa. They offset, first down.
A couple of Canadian linebackers getting into it. James Peter out of Ottawa and Kerfala Exume at the end of the play. The Argonauts special teams unit least penalized in the Canadian Football League, just 13 penalties coming in.
So Ryan Dinwiddie trying to find some answers over on that Argonaut sideline.
Two pumps holding on to it. Keller can't get rid of the football and can't get back to the original line of scrimmage either. That'll go down as a sack. As it looks like, 96. Mike Wakefield gets another, as he's now tied his career high from last season of 6 sacks and has 27 in his career.
Yeah, Mike Wakefield, much of his career, I think, has been one of the underrated interior defensive linemen in this league. But now, as you see the numbers.
The snap dribbles back to Kelly, who just chucks it up in the air, downfield, incomplete. If he got a clean snap, he might have had a shot at DeMonte Coxie, but the snap came out low. Kelly picked it up, felt the pressure, knew where he wanted to go pre-snap, and threw it up, hoping he could find Coxie. Incomplete.
Yeah, you alluded to it earlier, Marsh, the idea that Coxie may be the security blanket of sorts for Chad Kelly. Certainly a guy in whom he has confidence. Throwing it up, hoping Coxie might be able to go get it. That one just long.
John Haggerty will punt this one away. Nearly blocked that time by James Peter coming through the middle. And now the return for Brandon Dandridge. There is a flag down as well, as the Ottawa offense comes back out and hoping to get one of their better players back soon. Claire Hanna has more on the return, potentially, of Jalen Ackland.
Yeah, Marshall, and it was exactly 2 weeks ago that all of TD Place held their breath as Jalen Ackland sat motionless on the field for 10 minutes. He was eventually taken to the hospital via ambulance, but there was hundreds of messages of support coming in from the CFL. Head coach Bob Dice told me that there was even members of Atletico Ottawa who stopped him in the hallways here and just asked for an update on how Ackland was doing. But the good news is, earlier this week, the Redblacks receiver was back on the practice field and spirits were immediately up. Drew Brown said having him around is so good for the team. He can give advice to the younger guys, but Dice says they're very cautious when it comes to concussions, and they anticipate he could be ready for day 1 practice next week if he continues to progress, guys.
Awesome, Claire. And just great to see Jalen at field level, walking around, talking to people, being in the building, as Drew Brown would love to get him back. And Brown on this play gets it out of his hands, breaking 2 tackles, now 3. And another great yards after catch effort from Kalen Laybourne.
Well, we've seen it all from the Ottawa running backs in this ball game. Everything you got to do in the CFL. Running the ball hard, catching the ball, some terrific blocks. Right there, Laybourne making some people miss.
Laybourne doing a good job in the backfield, and Brown using his own legs this time. Plunges forward, 1st and 10, already in Toronto territory here, with 6:16 remaining in the second quarter. 27-3 on the front end of a CFL triple header. Next one coming up for you, the Banjo Bowl on CTV. As the former Blue Bombers quarterback Drew Brown, no doubt, will be watching that one once he's done his post-game responsibilities in the Redblacks locker room. Now a member in Ottawa. There's another completion underneath. Justin Hardy makes the grab that time. And Isaac D'Arcangelo getting the start at middle linebacker wraps him up.
Yeah, D'Arcangelo getting that opportunity this week. Add another bigger body to that linebacking core. Winton McManus still out of the lineup.
A hurry up and wait routine here from the Ottawa Redblacks. Fraser Sopik and Royce Metier trying to communicate the call to the Argonauts defense, and outside sliding down on the wet turf. Incomplete. Dominic Grimes and Benji Franklin, which arguably has been the battle of the day, one-on-one here between Toronto and Ottawa.
Yeah, they've each had their moments in this one. That one, Rhymes coming in from the outside.
Correct decision.
You see as he's trying to settle to catch that one, just body stop, feet kept going.
Drew Brown unlike Chad Kelly earlier today, at least the error doesn't turn into a major one that goes the opposite direction for 6, as this football for Janarian Grant rolls all the way into the end zone. Richie Leone goes for a jog, but it'll be picked up there by Grant, and tag a couple more on for the Red Blacks as they near a 30-point first half. Damon Webb with those 2 pick sixes here against Chad Kelly, and incredible to see some of the efforts that he is knotted up with. Remember that Emmanuel Davis game back in 2015 for the Tiger Cats. Byron Parker, never afraid to go get himself an interception, of course. Vernon Mitchell up there at the top, which I was told once upon a time Vernon Mitchell might have taken a run at my man Dwayne Ford.
I'll just say the three pick sixes were the highlight for Vernon Mitchell.
Didn't end well for Vernon.
No, he was a good player. Good DB.
Richie Sindani checked down over the middle. Flags are down. It's a first down for now, barring the penalty. And it'll go against the Argonauts offense.
Legal block hands to the face, Toronto number 64. It's 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So Dylan Giffen stepping in at that left guard position as the starter today, with Ryan Hunter out of the lineup, gets flagged.
And here you'll see Giffen right away working against Mike Wakefield. Wakefield rips inside Giffen. Got the hands up on him.
Takes away a 12-yard gain, sets them back 10 yards. First and 20 from Toronto's 30. They'll go to the ground game. Reluctant to use it, it feels like at times today, but Kadeem Carey continuing to churn out some solid yardage as he loses his bucket on that one after a gain of 8.
And you get into that challenging situation. They haven't used the run game, and then as time goes on, if that deficit doesn't get smaller, time becomes your enemy in terms of any desire to try and get Kadeem Carey more involved.
Pressure look here for the Red Blacks. Kelly gets it out hot. Sindani makes the grab, and they force him to get it out of his hand, rally to the football, and tackle short of the sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it all fits together. You've got that blitz going, knowing they need so many yards for a first down. Well, we're going to get to them before any route can get long enough. Going to get to the quarterback before any of his receivers can reach that first down marker. Ensure tackling there. On that occasion, safety Alonzo Adai leading the way. Ensures that the Argos have to punt the football again.
Low snap comes back from Adam Guillemette, the long snapper of the Argonauts, but hauled in by Haggerty, and great downfield coverage. Jonathan Jones, playing a weak side linebacker, makes the play. As Crave presents the next chapter in the Batman saga, starring Academy Award nominee Colin Farrell, The Penguin, an HBO original limited series, streams September 19th only on Crave.
Colin Farrell used to play like heartthrob type roles.
I mean, he's versatile.
Yeah.
He's like you know?
Well,
Kalen Laybourne in the backfield, blocking down the field immediately, and great speed around the corner that time from Justin Hardy. It's a gain of 10. Where will they spot it? Is it going to move the chains? And it will. First down, Red Blacks, as we hit the 3-minute warning for the Ottawa Redblacks, coming home from long travel all the way out to play at Royal Athletic Park in Victoria. 6 days rest, 2 more than Toronto, paying off 28-3 at the 3-minute warning.
We're talking about Damon Webb. Damon Webb. Is that right? Spiderweb?
Spiderweb.
Spider-Man?
Spiderweb.
All right, what's going on with Chad Kelly? And whoop, whoop, Paul Lapolice is here, of course, to talk about the Banjo Bowl. It's all coming up.
Defense for the Ottawa Redblacks been strong right from the very beginning, as now they get it into Justin Hardy's hands, and he gets a first down, but there is a flag down flying in from the back judge here.
Holding, Ottawa number 15. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
On the outside, they get Dominique Grimes, unfortunately, as they went straight to Justin Hardy. I don't blame him for trying to find 1,000 different ways to get it in Hardy's hands as well.
Yeah, I like the play call here. Grimes right at the bottom of your screen, responsible for blocking the defensive end. Got the hands on the outside, but receiver run's always a big part of Tommy Condell's offense. He loses a pretty important guy in Braylon Addison.
And a big shot down the seam here as Addison out of the lineup, but Grimes trying to make the yardage back that he just lost from that last penalty, and does so with one of the more difficult catches we've seen of the day for 26 yards.
Yeah, always admire the courage of receivers knowing in that part of the field you're going to get smashed as soon as you catch the ball, but able to keep his focus on the rock. As Royce Metier immediately lowers the boom, Grimes holds on for a big first down grab.
One of the most rewarding kind of throws you can have as a quarterback right there for Drew Brown. He loved it as they backside screen it this time. Get it to the fullback, and it's Anthony Gosselin rumbling his way for a first down. So Tommy Condell, we've seen a little Justin Hardy direct snap. We've seen Grimes down the seam, and now they get the fullback involved.
Yeah, mixing things up a little bit. Gosselin on the far left side of your screen lines up as a tight end. Pretends to lose his block and then just slips out there through the screen.
8th different receiver for the Ottawa Redblacks here today. A Colaros-esque performance from his former protege, Drew Brown. Leaning on the defense, but making some great throws like he just did to Grimes. What can he do here on 1st and 10? Gets it out to Grimes once again. Trying to get away from tacklers, but brought down. As Fraser Sopik finished it off with Isaac Darkangelo there. And Anthony Gosselin from the veterans of the Canadian Football League, and everybody loves it when the fullback gets a touch, Dwayne.
They really do, Marshall. It's not just me.
Second rounder, 18th overall back in 2017 out of Sherbrooke. All 7 years of his career here in Ottawa. And no doubt a locker room favorite. Brown against the 5-man rush. Gets it out as he gets hit. And it is up for grabs for a moment. But incomplete. As Brown got hit from both sides. Those defensive ends from the Argonauts lead the CFL in pass rush win rate coming around the corner.
Yeah, and Jake Cerezna's lined up on the outside on this one, top of your screen.
Benji Franklin might have had a shot at it if he stayed up on his feet, but falls to the turf. So a 51-yard attempt here from Lewis Ward. Richie Leone is the holder.
In this era of the Canadian Football League, I mean, the fact is you need a guy who's money in order to compete. Lewis Ward has been that for the Redblacks throughout his career.
Kelly controls Tommy Neal, the intended receiver, brings it in. Brandon Dandridge gets credit for the tackle there. As Frankie Griffin and Tommy Neal have a conversation about University of Texas San Marcos and McMaster, similarities and differences.
Yes, compare and contrast.
It's the halftime show coming up with analysis of this one in a little over a minute's time. But Chad Kelly would like to put some points on the board before we get there. Neal, another completion. And once again, close to a first down. They'll spot it about the 51-yard line. Yard and a half, 2 yards away. Toronto goes quickly back to the line of scrimmage here. Kelly gets them sorted out. Live at the line. Haven't heard much from Mackay Pope over the last couple of series. They'll go back to him. Oh, actually, it's David Unger on the outside. Thought they were going slant to Pope, but just working that boundary as quick as they can right now, and they move the sticks once again.
Yeah, and I think taking advantage of the fact that Ottawa sitting back a little bit, not wanting to give up a big one here late in the half. Toronto content, recognizing they feel there's enough time on the clock to take a bunch of short ones.
Big pressure moment here, flying in from that boundary. Bennett Williams, first year out of Oregon, and brings down Chad Kelly for the sack.
Yeah, Bennett Williams became a little bit of an odd man out in the secondary. You see him coming off that right edge.
Pressure on once again. Down goes Kelly. Davian Taylor in at middle linebacker for Javon Santos Knox. And back-to-back sacks will end the Argonauts' push for points.
Davian Taylor standing up. His middle linebacker spot. Unblocked man straight through to the quarterback. And they turned up the heat there a little bit. I think Ottawa got tired of giving up all those short passes underneath. Decided to take away some of Chad Kelly's time.
Aaron Miles said, that's enough of that. Big kick here from Haggerty. Brandon Dandridge instructed right before the kick by Bob Dice. Don't let it go into the end zone. No singles. Well, now he's just going to run horizontal, try and stay out of that end zone, and he barely does. 27 seconds left and a 57-yard punt from Haggerty, who's been ripping the laces off the football here this season.
And here you wish a little bit from an Ottawa perspective, 31-3. You got a bit of a cushion, obviously, but you're trying not to give up that point. You either needed to get a couple of yards on that return or get a little more time off the clock. Right now, you're nervous that you're in safety territory.
Drew Brown already over 200 yards on the day in this first half, and now has to operate for the first time deep backed up against his own goal line with 27 seconds remaining and a 31-3 advantage. A little bit of game management perhaps here for the Red Blacks. See if they can pound the rock, get some breathing room. Wondering what he has to do to try and get into the end zone here for the Argonauts. Just a single field goal produced so far in this ballgame.
Yeah, turnovers. The turnovers on their own a huge story, but the fact that two of them have been pick sixes cashed in by Damon Webb speaks volumes about the 28-point Ottawa lead.
The play clock as far down as they possibly can. And Leyburn gets the carry. Wrapped up, but it doesn't matter. That's the end of the first half. So Ottawa escapes after being backed up in their own end and gets saluted by the Red Blacks home crowd that has not seen them lose on this field this season. As many wins here at TD Place as they've had over the last several years. 5 victories, 5-0-1. And Damon Webb is a big part of the reason why they might be able to get to 6 wins here at TD Place this season. Tragically hip 2004 Grey Cup. Gus the Polar Bear right here in the nation's capital. Awesome. Look it up on YouTube. Tommy Neal, slot back, turnover on downs, the incompletion. What were they trying to get to here, Gwen?
Yeah, Neal is working towards the corner. He's got a step there, but with the corner falling off, that window becomes real tight. An overthrow there for Chad Kelly.
A lot of time on the tablet today, looking things over for number 12. Trying to sort his way through this. Baron Miles-led Red Blacks defense is now, just like at the end of the first half, the end of the third quarter here with 2:37 remaining and that 28-point advantage. Ottawa with a long field in front of them. As Drew Brown breaks the huddle in what is a true 4-point game here in the East Division. These two teams second and third right now behind Montreal in the East. As Andre Miller gets the grab, heads towards the sideline. Benji Franklin ripping
suspect, given the score, given the time, and obviously given the field position, Ottawa will be somewhat content to play a little bit of small ball in this this portion of the field. Get out of the shadow of the goalpost a little bit, but play it safe in doing so.
Bob Dyson trusting Tommy Condell as offensive coordinator here in Ottawa. See what he calls in moments like this. Miller tightens down to the line of scrimmage. Pressure on. Run look. Argonauts knew it was coming. And right in the middle of the pile, Jordan Williams, as they call for some help here. It looks like a Redblacks offensive lineman at Zach Pelios. Second overall pick back in 2022, down and needs some help.
Feel the need to say anytime we have O-line injuries now after seeing Casey Sales and Micah Johnson.
His big right tackle off the field here. They swap out a second overall pick from 22 for an 8th overall pick in 2015. Jacob Ruby on the field. There's Dante Bull as well. You just saw on the sideline as he's on the injured list right now. Out, the former first overall pick. Richie Leone will have to punt this away from his own 3-yard line. High spiraling boot drops down to Janarian Grant. This is typically when he starts to heat up in games to get the wheels turning. As he gets hit up high around the 50. It's turned around. Nigel Romick down the field, the athletic defensive end and special teamer, 10-year veteran out of St. Mary's. The first on the scene to try and bring down Janarian Grant.
Yeah, Romick, one of the original Ottawa Redblacks. Go to St. Mary's University.
122 games for Nigel Romick, tying Antoine Pruneau today for the most in Redblacks history as well. So congratulations to him. Longtime fan favorite. Chad Kelly wants to throw another deep ball for Tommy. Kneeled up for grabs, incomplete. It was in his hands for a moment. DeAndre Lamont made the play. 7 pass knockdowns on the season, leading the team.
Yeah, big defensive play there for Lamont as he continues to show his value. Chad Kelly puts it on the money here. Perfectly placed. Tommy Neal goes up and gets it, catches it in his hands before DeAndre Lamont wrestles it away.
There's offense on 2nd and 10. Check it down underneath. Kadeem Carey puts his head down, has to get out to the 46-yard line. The initial signal is indeed a first down for Toronto. Kelly relying on the running backs out of the backfield as they'll swap out Kadeem Carey for Deonta McMahon here, who they tried to give that score zone target just a few minutes ago.
He just gave it to you.
Quickly back to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10. Kelly again goes to McMahon. And a swing pass underneath and back to the original line of scrimmage. And that will do it for the 3rd quarter of play. There's some big ball of gas trying to make an appearance for us here in the nation's capital. Maybe it'll shine on the Argonauts in the 4th quarter, but it has been a stormy start through 3 quarters for the Double Blue offensively. 38-10. But they get into the end zone with Tommy Neal playing hero, only to be answered by Leyburn in his first career CFL touchdown.
All backgrounds get represented.
Being somebody who represents diversity, I love to see it when we're giving those people opportunities.
Not far from TD Place, the Canadian Firefighters Memorial. Here in the nation's capital, it's National Firefighter Memorial Weekend. With more, Claire Hanna.
Thank you very much. I'm here with David Sheen. David, we spoke last year. Unfortunately, this was a really devastating year for fallen firefighters. 160 lost their lives. Can you just touch on how dangerous this occupation is?
Well, you know, Claire, I think it goes without saying, when you're adding 160 names, whether it's from occupational illness or traumatic injury, and certainly this year, the wildland firefighters, we have 8 wildland firefighters going on the wall, the most we've ever had in the history of Canada.
And tomorrow, you're going to be having the official memorial. There's also a record number of families that are going to be attending, but what does it mean just to even have the recognition here at the CFL game?
Oh, for us, this is awesome. I mean, hopefully it gets the message out to people to show how we as a foundation want to support the families, blanket them in love, and you know, make it special for them.
Thank you very much, David.
Thanks, Claire.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, David. And stark reminder of the danger and the people that keep us safe. And all first responders, we thank you for all the work that you do. As Mackay Polk with a big 22-yard gain. A procedure call here. Toronto in the first half, just 6 first downs. In the third quarter alone, they had 7. So things have certainly gotten better for Ryan. CTV games all year long beginning right now. Saskatchewan-Winnipeg is live over on CTV. It is the Banjo Bowl, the Riders and the Bombers going at it after a fantastic Labor Day weekend game between those two teams. They renew rivalries, and then of course coming up later on, the Stamps and the Elks as Logan Bonner gets himself a start at quarterback, and this one high just like in the first half from Chad Kelly. The drizzle returns, and the Bugaboos out of the right hand from number 12 return at the same time.
Yeah, another one that certainly got away.
Hey, fine. If I do this, that means you guys are going.
Deflection prevents Alonzo Adai from getting a hand on that one.
Rush on 2nd and 10. Escapes pressure, rolls to his right. Aiden John tries to get there. He does. Big hit on the completion. Shy of the first down marker. Richie Sindani was working for it. And finally gave his quarterback an escape route, but Aiden John working at defensive end here today.
Yeah, coming from the top of your screen. You see Aiden John spying it.
Watch the white, watch the white.
Argos offense will stay on the field. Go to work 3rd and 4 from the Ottawa 44. Pressure right down the barrel coming at Kelly. Incomplete, but David Webb got there early on Mackay Polk. The first half hero with 2 pick sixes. The guilty party on this one.
Pass interference, Ottawa number 9. That's an automatic first down.
And Chapdelaine working as an official, having a conversation with Webb there.
Mackay Polk, the intended receiver, on the play as he comes across Webb. Really looking for number 3, trying to get a bit of a jump on things there, but impeding the receiver with that arm out in front.
You see turf all over the inside of the helmet there. Chad Kelly, after being tackled by Aiden John, is now Dan Adeboye. That's the play action fake in the backfield. Kelly flips it out. David Unger and gets pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So Unger piecing together a nice afternoon with another gain here of 14 yards.
Yeah, Unger, former Hamilton draft pick. We got a much bigger opportunity here in Toronto.
5 catches, 88 yards for Unger. DeMonte Coxey back into the fray, cuts back, makes 2 men miss into the end zone. Where has that been all game? Touchdown Argos.
Well, terrific effort there after the catch by DeMonte Coxey. And the missed tackles will drive Baron Miles and Bob Dice a little nuts over on that Ottawa sideline. It looked like they had him stopped short. Right there, McGee had him wrapped, but Coxey able to spin out of it and fight his way into the end zone. Keeping the Argos alive in this ballgame.
5 Redblacks were within range. Nobody could bring down DeMonte Coxey, so now they'll go for 2. Out of a boy, swings out, quarterback drop. Chad Kelly walks it in and tag a couple more on for Kelly in the Argos offense here. 38 points for the Redblacks. The Toronto defense has got to get a couple of stops. But now up to 21 thanks to DeMonte Coxey. Breaking tackles, running through the Adarius Pickett effort, and Chad Kelly walks in the 2-point. 38-21.
Wire.
5 plays, 50 yards in just over a minute. And it ends with DeMonte Coxey battling his way into the end zone. Everybody was around him. Nobody could bring him down.
Yeah, Coxey, the outside man in this trip set to the wide side, just working to the sideline. Again, Elijah McGee looked like he had him wrapped up. Coxey able to spin away from that one. Broke another tackle en route to the end zone.
This return from Jamal Morrow, getting an opportunity in the return game. Tunde Adeleke pushes him out of bounds. As Morrow a little bit slow up onto his feet. So shaking off the cobwebs and limps his way across the field with a little bit of help from his friends.
Jamal Morrow showing some of his added value on the rosters. Backup running back, also able to chip in that return game.
Morrow gets looked at on the sideline while Drew Brown and the Redblacks offense back on the field. Brown punts, now looks over the top. Andre Miller, back shoulder, perfect placement from Drew Brown. He and Miller have got something going here this afternoon through all of the receiver injuries. With Addison out and Acklin out, Miller steps in and gets some chemistry with the starting quarterback on throws like this.
Yeah, terrific catch here as Miller kind of launches himself back on that throw behind twist, but very clearly had his hands underneath it to hold on for the completion.
16 yards there as Brown goes back to the shotgun. Snap comes up, rolls to his right, quick throw. Leyburn heads for the Ottawa sideline as his running back mate Jamal Morrow in the injury tent right now on that same side. And looks like Drew Brown's having a little bit of fun out here in the drizzle this afternoon. A lot of smiling between snaps, so why not with 38 points on the board?
Yeah, some new faces. I think he's excited to see those guys get involved and have things click for them. Andre Miller and Kalen Leyburn in particular. Eli Stove out there as well, getting his second start in that receiving corps.
Five-man rush from the Argos. Dominique Rhymes wide open on the crosser, running away from Robert Priester to the 25, steps out of bounds at the 20-yard line. First down, Redblacks as Rhymes fires up the crowd for a gain of 22.
And this is a demonstration of exactly why you run the crossing type routes. You see Rhymes coming right to left on your screen. Priester's got to sort things out through traffic underneath there and is just unable to stay with him.
Play clock whistled in. Inside 9 minutes remaining in this ball game, and Ottawa happy to snap it with only a few seconds left on the clock each play. Winding down the Argonauts' chances. Brown drop, looks to the end zone, over the top, up for grabs and knocked away. There's that man again, Benji Franklin against Justin Hardy.
Well, Franklin had position on this one all the way. It's Hardy on the outside looking for the pass breakup. Just right down the sideline, you see Franklin inside position running with him. He's got a beat on the ball. Hardy's the one who's got to reach around to ensure that that one doesn't get picked.
It's a couple of times today that Ottawa receivers have had to play defensive back against Benji Franklin. Puts himself in such good positions as Brown looks to the crossing route to Rhymes again. They try to go back to the well, and this time hacked down. Priester came up and made the play as the undersized tweener, halfback, outside linebacker, playing with speed, and gets to the lower body of Dominique Rhymes before he can pick up the first down.
Yeah, Rhymes working left to right this time across the formation, but finds Priester waiting for him rather than chasing in this instance.
Milton finishes it out as well. His first year out of Baylor here in the Canadian Football League. So from 24 yards away, Lewis Ward tries to cross the 40-point mark for the Redblacks today. 3 of 3 already. Through the wind and the drizzle, doesn't matter what side of the field he's on, Lewis Ward is money. 4 for 4 and 41 points on the board here in the fourth for the Ottawa Redblacks as they look as though they are on their way to moving to 8-3 on the season. Bob Dice loves it. Not had a lot of success here at TD Place over the last couple of years. Just 5-29 at home in the previous 4 seasons, but about to move to 6-0-1 if they hold on to this 20-point advantage in the fourth quarter. Why? Why? I mean, what is the reason that they have been so dominant here at home all of a sudden?
Well, I think it's about their season in general and what we talked about off the top.
Monte Cosi makes the grab, pushed out of bounds.
Just the combination of both stability and depth that they've had at the quarterback position. Like, you think about how different the last couple of years might have been in Ottawa had Jeremiah Masoli not been injured 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kelly rolls out to his left, finds Mackay Pope, and is brought down. Frankie Griffin finishes off the Damon Webb tackle there. But yeah, having Jeremiah Masoli injured obviously has changed the course of their last couple of seasons. But Drew Brown coming over, Jeremiah into the fray, Tyree Adams stepping up at times, Dustin Crum filling in.
Yeah, well, you look, I mean, Crum, Masoli, and Brown have all sort of contributed points for the Ottawa Redblacks this season.
Done a good job of building the roster out around it. Bring Dominique Rhymes home, if you want to call it that, from where he was before after going to BC. Javon Santos knocks the C on crutches in the background there, but he's been great for them at middle linebacker. Return game's gotten better, built out the special teams through the draft.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, adding a guy on defense like Darius Pickett can change the complexion of your team a little bit, not just on the field, but in terms of attitude, work ethic, confidence as well.
3rd and 2, handed off by Darius Pickett, almost made the stick, and everybody else had to come to the rescue. Pickett first on the scene, but the physicality he brought over from the Toronto Argonauts on clear display there. And we heard this week, Dwayne, about, yeah, when Darius is on the field in practice, he plays 100% all the time, and it's so he can make plays like that.
And here you'll see him come flying into the backfield. Beats his man to the inside to meet Kadeem Carey. Carey able to get through that one. But Pickett slowed him up enough to allow the cavalry to get there and snuff out that Argonaut drive.
What was that he said about pads clacking?
Yeah.
he makes them clack pretty loud when he makes plays like that. Drew Brown in the offense. Back on the turf. 20-point advantage after the Lewis Ward field goal. And a double caught ball by Justin Hardy. He's trying to spin away from tacklers. D'Arcangelo helps out Royce Mechie to bring him down. But Hardy, another one of those that great history and pedigree in the NCAA at East Carolina.
The only quarterback starting every game.
Yeah. Behind only Garcia and Burris, I believe.
Consecutive starts.
Yeah, Bonner gets the start, and this one knocked away. Once again, receivers forced to play defensive back as Elijah McGee took a run at it. And Mackay Pope able to get what should go down as a pass knockdown if he were a defensive defensive back.
Yeah, I mean, McGee was fully in front of this one. Polk comes from behind him. Making a play on that ball.
And a challenge flag comes out. And what is Bob Dice looking for here?
Ottawa is challenging for offensive pass interference on the previous play. The play will be reviewed.
Oh, the rare offensive pass interference challenge, Dwayne. This game has it all.
But for Bob Dice, this is all about making a long field longer at this stage, right? 20-point lead. You don't want to give any life.
I mean, I joke about it, but it is one of those things where there's kind of this culture of anytime a defensive back touches a receiver, well, that's DPI.
Flag, yeah.
Anytime there's a bad throw, then an offensive player scratches and claws and holds and clutches and grabs, and everyone goes, well, that's just a great play.
Yeah.
So Bob Dice is trying to change the narrative on us here.
I don't think there's a lot of question that if you're treating the DB as the receiver and the receiver is the
defeated with the poncho sales. Let's get the call.
After review by the command.
Offensive pass interference review and a sack. Talk about making a long field longer. There's Lorenzo Malden alongside Cleon Lang.
5th sack on the game for the Ottawa Redblacks. Lorenzo Malden. Top of your screen. Looking against Dejon Allen.
Gets out a little screen. This time Kadeem Carey's got running room. Bennett Williams trying to bring him down and add a little bit of water to this CFL playing surface. Everyone gets real slippery real quick. DeMonte Coxey showed that on the Argonauts touchdown earlier, and Kadeem Carey sliding away from tacklers that time for a gain of 17. And they'll go here once again. 3rd and 7. Chad Kelly, quick snap. Looking to the wide side. David Unger catches it, taps the toes. Looks like they had to get to the 40, and the spot should get it the first down. As they take a look at it, put the spot down. Yep. Snap comes up as they move the chains. Kelly crossing route, Richie Sindani incomplete.
David Taylor providing the coverage, middle linebacker.
And we have hit the 3-minute warning here in the nation's capital. The Redblacks looking to move to 8-3 on the year. Gain an advantage over the Argonauts. Looks like Ottawa will have a 5-point lead for second in the East with their eyes on a home playoff game. You get the sense that Chad Kelly's passing yardage total at the end of this day is likely not going to match what the performance felt like. But some big shots in the moments like this where Ottawa plays soft and allows everything underneath. And when he takes it, they get a lot of yardage out of it. This one will go over the top. It'll hang up too. As Coxey trying to high point it, and he does. What a grab by DeMonte Coxey. Told us this week some of his favorite receivers, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, Randy Moss, loves high pointing the football.
Well, yeah, I mean, he talked about practicing this stuff in high school, that this was a game that they played. Basically a free-for-all. All the receivers lined up at one end of the field with the quarterback throwing Hail Marys. Everybody had to fight for it.
Gain of 40 on this play as flags come up all over the place. At the snap, David Unger makes the catch.
David Unger may be 5'10", $175. But he does play like he's 6'2", 200.
Yeah. Yeah, he battles, no doubt, and gets lots of targets as well. Going backwards here on this drive, converting a 3rd and 10 from their own 3 to the Argonauts, and now all the way inside the 30 of Ottawa.
Decline, the gain is greater. First down.
Tim Croker, the referee, sorts that one out. Everyone resets. They'll whistle this in as we head towards a minute remaining in the ball game. Argonauts trailing by 20, not giving up. Kelly looking for a deep shot, rolling across the field, trying to find out of a boy, and he couldn't hold on.
To give a little love to Toronto center Peter Nicastro. You know, Labor Day brain cramp for me.
It's not brain cramp. I mean,
it's my years running together where I suggested that he missed last season due to injury. Started at guard last year, bumped from center to guard. Back at center this year.
There's Unger fighting through the middle of the field, tackled down around the 5-yard line. As Nicastro and the rest of that offensive line giving Chad Kelly some good time to operate now.
I mean, Argos doing what they have to do in the circumstance here. Very lightly, too little, too late.
Kelly fires one into the end zone, rolling to his right, and finds DeMonte Coxey with 50 seconds remaining. The Argonauts just keep chipping away. They've gotten close at various points in this ballgame of securing momentum, building something special early on in the 3rd quarter. A 107-yard drive. And it's finished with DeMonte Coxey in the end zone, as now they'll go for 2. So Ryan Dinwiddie kicks the special teams unit off the field and looks back to his play sheet for the 2-point.
And fitting that it would be Coxey scoring the touchdown, as he had the big catch on that drive that got them the chunk that they needed, given the battle against time that they're facing here. But you know, you look at a couple of plays in this game, or a couple of turnovers, one on downs, but also a pick 6 in the first half when the Argos are in scoring position. As they make this game closer, could have been a very different game.
Kelly working the pocket and throwing an interception. Elijah McGee hauls it in as Kelly off the mark on that one.